I looked at the numbers, and over 80% of the people we were charging and convicting were young African-American males between 16 and 28. That's wrong. That's a racially biased crime.
He is Hennepin County's longest-serving top prosecutor, and tonight, Mike Freeman is opening up about his time in office. Freeman only has a couple of weeks left before a new county attorney is sworn in.
And Freeman sat down today with Fox 9's Paul Bloom to discuss his legacy, the highs, the lows, and the tough decisions, and even the areas where his office should have been better.
It's not the numbers of prosecution. It's not any of those statistics. It's whether we did the right thing in every case we did.
Mike Freeman has served as Hennepin County's top prosecutor for 24 years. He wants his legacy to be the staff he leaves behind, including scores of attorneys, nearly each and every one he personally interviewed during the hiring phase.
At the heart of it, does this system work? Should the community feel good about the criminal justice system?
Absolutely, and that's one of my bigger disappointments with some of the criticism, is it does work. It makes mistakes. There's no question about it. We would be not truthful, but we try to clear up the mistakes we make.
On the verge of retirement, Freeman opened up in a lengthy, free-ranging interview with no subject off limits. One of the mistakes he now acknowledges, the prosecution of Jaleel Stallings. A jury acquitted Stallings on charges the Army veteran fired at police officers in the chaos following George Floyd's murder, in which Stallings argued self-defense. The record would show MPD SWAT team members shot less lethal rounds first and then pummeled Stallings afterwards.
And frankly, the police lied to us. Lied. Tough word. They did. And we charge it based on their representations and what they said happened and their reports, and they lied. Stallings is kind of a terrible example of justice run amok.
Over 2 decades, Freeman came under fire for his decision-making around deadly police encounters, eventually doing away with the use of anonymous grand juries and making the call himself, charging Derek Chauvin and Muhammad Noor with murder, but neither Mark Ringenberg or Dustin Schwarzy for their roles in the fatal 2015 shooting of Jamar Clark.
Ringenberg heard Clark say, quote, "I'm ready to die," end quote.
It is a decision Freeman stands behind to this day.
I do not support the actions of the police officers that day. They pulled the gun when they didn't need to. They took the Clark down. They didn't de-escalate. They didn't do a lot of things. But my job is to ascertain whether there's sufficient admissible evidence to prove that cops committed a crime beyond a reasonable doubt.
Freeman insists he is not concerned about the upcoming transition to his successor, former longtime Hennepin County Public Defender Mary Moriarty, even though the two often sparred about the direction of the criminal justice system. Wishing her well as he described a changing landscape for top prosecutors where demonstrators are now willing to protest and bring their demands right to your front door.
When we ended up being chased out of our house, selling it at a loss, I mean, my neighbors didn't deserve that either, but it shouldn't be part of the job. We ought to be able to have discourse that doesn't disrupt neighborhoods. Don't take it home.
As for what's next for Freeman,
I promised myself only one thing. I'm not going to make any decisions until after Labor Day 2023. For 50 years, Paul, I've put a tie on and I've gone to work. That's long enough. 50 years. It's time to have a break. And, you know, we'll see what happens then.
Yeah, we should mention, I mean, he could have retired almost a decade ago because he is 74.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine a more difficult job, particularly in this environment that we're in now.
Oh, exactly. The stressors of that job at 74. He was recounting the numbers to me. That office charges 9,000 adult felonies every year, 4,000 juvenile felonies. It's got 200 attorneys, got 300 some odd staff members.
Yeah.
It is a massive undertaking, and you know, he took the high road. You know, there have been some sparring between him and Moriarty, but he's excited about the future. He's excited about the future of MPD leadership. He's also excited, or optimistic, I should say, that some of those violent crime numbers are coming down. He wishes he could kind of be a part of the next phase, but certainly had positive and warm wishes for Mary as she takes over.
Well, it'll be interesting after Labor Day to see how he decides how he wants to spend his retirement, right?
Yeah.
Maybe in a consulting role or working with some of the law schools.
Yeah, someone tells me we haven't heard the end of
Yes.
Mike Freeman weighing in on the criminal justice system, on laws at the Capitol, that type of thing. I certainly wouldn't be surprised if we hear from him again.
All right. Great story. Thanks, Paul.
You bet.